Yeah, I mean, he was in Higher Learning.
And he played Ice Cube in Higher Learning.
He plays Ice Cube in every movie.
Everything.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not doubting that. I'm not questioning that.
There's no way you can sell.
But
there's no way you can sell me on Ice Cube the surgeon. Nurse, we gotta do a scalpel. Turn the gas up to CC74. No, you're gonna get that.
It started with a smirk and a mic. Aries Spears, sitting across from Vlad, decided it was time to shoot his shot straight at Ice Cube's legacy. What should have been another forgettable sit-down turned into a viral firestorm when Spears, long past his Mad TV prime and visibly bitter, took the moment to drag Ice Cube's career like it was a punchline that never landed. No depth, no range, he sneered, tearing into Cube's flow, acting chops, and with unsettling enthusiasm mocking his cadence from It Was a Good Day like a man trying to provoke a reaction. Well, mission accomplished.
Instead of him going, is there a problem here? He's going, there a problem here. It's just a different tone, but it's the same thing.
The fallout was swift, savage, and public. Ice Cube, not known for emotional outbursts, but never one to let a slight slide, fired back with surgical coldness. Oh, he a comedian? 'Cause he ain't never made me laugh, Cube snapped in an interview, calling Spears a and tossing the comedian's name into the cultural shredder with the kind of disdain that hits deeper than profanity ever could. Cube didn't have to scream. His calm was the flex. Spears may have been swinging, but Cube walked away looking like the adult in the room. If the adult had a platinum disc in one hand and a baseball bat in the other.
You know, Willie D called me.
Okay.
I was in Louisville, Kentucky. And this nigga, and I love Willie D, that's my man, but this nigga called me like I disrespected his mama. He was like, Aries, man, you don't understand what Ice Cube done did for the culture, man, and hip hop. Why you say? And I go, Willie, it's a subjective opinion.
Of course, Spears didn't take it quietly. Within days, he hit back with an unhinged Instagram rant, waxing philosophical about the meaning of hate, desperately trying to reframe the backlash as an attack on free speech. Am I not allowed to have an opinion, he pleaded, the tone somewhere between martyr and man spiraling off the deep end? He insisted he respected Cube, the man, but not Cube, the artist, as if splitting that hair would stop the bleeding. What it did do was further spotlight the growing cracks in Spears' own standing, publicly, professionally, and personally.
Don't trust nobody. In Hollywood, specifically, when you get there, a lot of people don't know how to say no. That's the difference between New York City and California.
Enter 50 Cent, the hip-hop troll turned media mogul who saw a fight brewing and couldn't resist jumping in with both boots. 50 didn't mince words or waste time. He went scorched earth on Spears, clowning him on Instagram and siding firmly with Cube. That wasn't just shade, it was a declaration of war. And in classic 50 style, he didn't just throw jabs, he allegedly started making calls. According to whispers swirling out of New York and LA talent circles, 50 and Cube were quietly exploring ways to freeze Spears out of upcoming opportunities, especially in the streaming space. One former agent even claimed his name's a red flag now. You mention him in a pitch and the room goes quiet. Whether it's true or just industry myth-making, the speculation alone is enough to make producers think twice.
You don't like anything Ice Cube's done?
Nothing.
Really?
Ice Cube does nothing for me as a rapper and an actor.
Okay.
Nothing.
But Spears wasn't just up against two power players. He was getting dragged by the crowd too. Fans lit up his social feeds like a Christmas tree in a house fire, accusing him of being bitter, washed up, and desperate for clicks. One viral tweet read, "Imagine fading so hard that you have to diss Ice Cube just to trend." The court of public opinion wasn't just dismissive, they were merciless. And when the public turns, it doesn't take long for former allies to ghost and sponsors to disappear. Rumors are already swirling that a Vegas venue quietly pulled a pending deal with Spears after the backlash gained traction.
You don't think that Ice Cube was great in Friday? I will give you that he's playing himself.
He was great in Friday, but tell me how different Friday is from Boys in the Hood. Only difference is that they don't have a gun.
Well, Boys in the Hood was a dramatic role.
Either way, he's playing a street. He's playing a street from Los Angeles. That's not a stretch.
And here's where things get ugly, because according to one former Mad TV staffer, this feud didn't come out of nowhere. Back in the early 2000s, Spears reportedly pitched a sketch to Ice Cube's production company, something edgy, surreal, supposedly ahead of its time. It was rejected, flat out, no callback, no follow-up. And ever since, the same source says, Spears has harbored a quiet grudge, one that's festered for 2 decades beneath a layer of jokes and passive shots. This wasn't just an opinion on an artist. This was personal, a slow-cooked resentment that finally boiled over on camera. Now, Spears is trying to spin the fallout as proof that he's just too real for Hollywood, but the receipts tell another story. His peers aren't rallying to his side. They're staying silent, and that silence is deafening. Meanwhile, Ice Cube is busy pushing forward with Last Friday, bringing back Day Day, honoring the legacy of late castmates, and brushing off the noise like lint from a leather jacket. And 50? He's doubling down on his empire, teasing new projects and taking every chance to remind fans that he's still got power in every sense of the word.
We once worked together a long time ago. They're not friends now. They don't like each other. And yeah, 50 has taken every shot, especially when Diddy has been down.
The optics are brutal. Q, the cultural titan, cool as ice. 50, the industry pit bull, all bark and bite. And Spears, flailing on social media, trying to justify an opinion no one asked for while fending off backlash he clearly didn't expect. The deeper question now isn't whether Spears was right, it's whether anyone cares. In an era where visibility is currency, Spears may have just bankrupted his last ounce of goodwill. And it's not like Spears was riding high before this. Let's not forget the elephant in the room, the deeply disturbing lawsuit that had his name and Tiffany Haddish's attached to a swirl of grotesque allegations involving minors and an alleged comedy sketch that no one's laughing about. Though the case was dismissed, the stink hasn't cleared. A source close to a streaming exec says Spears' name still triggers concern meetings, the kind where publicists start rehearsing their damage control statements just in case. One former PR manager went as far as to call him radioactive. Not a great tag to carry into a fight with two of the most calculated figures in modern Black entertainment.
On a documentary, I think a lot of people thought that he was just joking around. It turns out he's not. So this is actually a real project that's being made under his G-Unit movie.
And as the rumor mill keeps churning, some are suggesting that this entire takedown of Cube wasn't just about old grudges or bruised egos. It was a Hail Mary to stay relevant, a gamble that by poking the bear, Spears might go viral enough to land a new gig, or at least a stand-up slot on a late-night tour. If that was the plan, it's backfired, badly, because instead of gaining buzz, he's lost credibility. Cube and 50 don't need to shout, they've got clout. And clout, unlike fame, doesn't expire when the spotlight dims. Even Spears' attempt to clarify things on Instagram reeked of desperation. He kept repeating the same line, "I'm allowed to not like Ice Cube." Sure, Aries, you are. And we're all allowed to notice when someone's trying way too hard to get noticed. And once 50 Cent stepped into the ring, it stopped being a one-on-one spat and transformed into a full-blown spectacle. With global reach, this wasn't just a celebrity feud anymore. This was content the kind 50 knows how to weaponize like no one else in entertainment. His social media timeline became a battlefield. He didn't just co-sign Cube's comeback, he amplified it, repackaged it, and blasted it out to millions with the brutal precision of a seasoned troll turned strategist. Spears was no longer arguing with one man. He was now the punchline in a meme war orchestrated by someone who's built a career out of making enemies suffer in public.
For him, although interestingly, we haven't seen the indictments yet. There's been some time lag. I suppose it will take some time to go through all the forensic, evidence, but still.
Let's not forget, this is the same man who dismantled Ja Rule's career with a mixture of lyrical disses, relentless mockery, and pettiest move ever stunts like buying out the front rows of Ja's concert just to leave them empty. The same 50 Cent who still needles rivals a decade after the original beef went cold. So when he picked up Spears as a new target, it wasn't just about defending Cube. It felt calculated, as if 50 saw an easy opportunity, a weakened figure with a messy past and no real backup. One studio exec even said anonymously, if 50 decides you're the problem, you don't just get clowned, you get erased. Now, industry insiders are whispering about something deeper, something more coordinated. It's no secret that Hollywood runs on relationships, and those who step outside the accepted narrative often find their phones stop ringing. Could 50 and Cube's combined influence be enough to quietly push Spears out of the picture? Some sources say yes. According to one former talent booker, there's a soft freeze happening behind the scenes. Certain venues aren't returning Aries calls. A rumored late-night panel slot? Gone. An indie film deal reportedly in talks just weeks ago? Pulled for budget reasons, or so the line goes. But the timing? Suspiciously convenient.
Just different things that's not really beef though. That's just competitive.
Competitiveness. All right. So you and Diddy, you and Puff cool?
No, I don't really rock with him
okay,
like that.
damn. All right.
And here's where it gets colder, because this isn't just about Cube's dignity or 50's vendetta. It's about the machinery that chews up the inconvenient and protects the bankable. Spears, whether by poor choices or pure misfortune, has landed squarely on the wrong side of both. His brand was already fragile before this latest meltdown, and now it's bleeding credibility faster than his old Mad TV clips can rack up views. In a media ecosystem built on likability and longevity, a man with neither is an easy target, and Spears right now, looks like open season. But this didn't all start with Cube. Spears has been fighting gravity for years. His reputation as a loose cannon has haunted him through decades. From his jaw-dropping confessions during the Mad TV reunion, where he admitted to cheating on his partner and failing his sons, to the heavy cloud of controversy surrounding that now infamous skit with Tiffany Haddish, he's been swimming against the current with cinder blocks strapped to his ankles. Even though the lawsuit was ultimately dismissed, the stain lingers. People remember headlines, not retractions. And for someone already seen as difficult to work with, the whisper campaign becomes a roar.
This guy
50's not to be
No, don't
50's not to be
with Fifth. Y'all don't even, Fifth is
play around if you want to.
Fifth is different.
And he's on tour.
Multiple outlets covered the disturbing nature of those allegations with detailed accounts that still circulate forums and comment threads today. One manager, who requested anonymity, told us Spears is not the kind of client a network wants to bet on anymore. They weren't talking about legal outcomes, they were talking about optics, about audience trust, and about the brutal truth that Hollywood doesn't need you if you're not bankable, likable, or at least memeable in a way that sells ad space. Spears has publicly downplayed the hate, insisting that he's just telling the truth and being punished for honesty. But when you dig deeper, it starts to look less like brave critique and more like self-sabotage. His bitterness over Cube's success isn't just professional, it feels personal. One insider claims Spears once lobbied hard to be cast in a reboot connected to the Friday franchise, only to be turned down without so much as a callback. Whether that rejection planted the seed for his recent comments or not, it certainly adds a bitter flavor to his critiques. And now that Cube is gearing up for Last Friday with the original cast and fresh studio backing, the timing of Spears' outburst doesn't exactly scream coincidence.
And telling people who the sponsors are. So if they want to harass Cadillac and AT&T, that'll happen.
Meanwhile, Fisty has doubled down. Every jab at Spears seems more strategic than the last, mocking his relevance, reposting memes that paint him as washed up, and fueling rumors that Cube and others are shutting doors behind the scenes. And when you consider how 50 has turned his feuds into empires, whether with stars execs, actors, or rival moguls, it's not hard to imagine him doing the same here. We're watching a one-man demolition crew with a global audience and nothing but time. And maybe that's what's most terrifying about all this. How fast someone can go from controversial voice to unhireable liability in the hands of a few powerful players. It raises the question, is Spears being punished for having an opinion or for having the wrong enemies? Hollywood doesn't just cancel people, it forgets them. And when the silence sets in, it's louder than any clapback.
Go back to that 50 Cent post, because I'm going to tell you why 50 is literally is a diabolical genius.
Still, Aries Spears hasn't backed down, not yet. But if he's got a master plan, it's buried beneath scattered posts and vague justifications. No new projects, no major support. Just a man standing in the ruins of his own commentary, hoping the smoke gets him noticed. The question now isn't whether he'll respond, it's whether anyone will still be watching when he does. Because if this war continues and 50 keeps turning the screws, Spears may find himself not just blacklisted, but invisible. It's hard to ignore the trail Spears has left behind, an erratic pattern of public outbursts, emotional breakdowns, and confessions that, when pieced together, paint a portrait of a man unraveling in real time. During a now viral appearance on the Tiger Belly podcast, Spears laid bare his private chaos in front of former castmates and millions of viewers. Between jokes and nostalgic throwbacks, he admitted to being unfaithful, to failing as a father, and to chasing external validation to fill something hollow inside. It was raw, uncomfortable, and brutally honest. But it also felt like a cry for help, disguised as a stand-up routine.
It's not gonna be able to go, okay, that is funny, but there's something else. Do you see all the angles? Do you know comedically, do you see where you could go, it'd be funnier if I did this, changed this, said this, the timing. Now, I guarantee you, I will get called a hater in all these f***ing comments, because idiots can't separate fact from hatred.
What stuck with audiences wasn't the comedic banter, but the painful self-awareness etched between his words. Spears openly compared himself to more successful peers, confessed his obsession with material success, and admitted that he still wanted the very things he claimed to resent. It wasn't just a confession, it was a moment of psychological self-dissection, the kind we rarely see from public figures who are trained to project strength and control. That emotional exposure, instead of humanizing him, may have actually widened the target on his back, because in Hollywood, vulnerability isn't always a virtue, it's often an invitation. The more we look at this feud with Ice Cube and 50 Cent through that lens, the more it starts to feel like Spears isn't just fighting them, he's fighting himself. Picking battles with titans of culture may not be strategic sabotage, but a kind of emotional compulsion, an attempt to regain control in an industry that left him behind, to feel relevant by creating friction. These are not the actions of a man with a plan. They're the lashing out of someone trying to matter, even if the attention comes at a cost, especially if pain is the only currency left.
The Police? You don't think that's a classic song?
It's classic because of what it represents in terms of black struggle symbolism and what black people have gone through with the police historically. It's the song that makes you go, yeah! Yeah, I get how it can touch your emotions, but it don't do nothing for me.
Straight out of Compton, gangster.
And that's where the conversation shifts from spectacle to tragedy. Because beneath the headlines, there's a man who seems to be wrestling with questions bigger than celebrity drama. What does it mean to fall from grace in public? To be remembered not for your art, but for your collapse? Spears' repeated confessions don't just show a lack of filter. They show a lack of armor. He's bleeding on the microphone over and over, and it's starting to look less like catharsis and more like self-immolation. So when we watch him lash out at Cube or defend himself online, maybe we're not just seeing a petty feud. We're seeing the outward symptoms of a much deeper spiral. The headlines may call it beef, but the body language says something else: desperation, exhaustion, maybe even resignation. And that raises an unsettling question. Are we witnessing a celebrity controversy? Or someone quietly losing a battle with himself while the cameras roll? So here's the real cliffhanger. Is Aries Spears about to drop a nuclear response that flips the script? Or is this the slow, messy final act of a career that refused to play by the rules? Could he bounce back? Or is he already too far gone in the eyes of an industry that thrives on silence and erases its troublemakers with chilling efficiency? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because this saga is just getting started, and the next move might be the most dangerous one yet. Until then, keep your eyes open and your tea hot. Hollywood never forgets, but it sure loves a fall.